Have all of you here, and good to get started with our basketball season coming up. First thing I want to mention is our 16 home games this year. It's a big deal. It's the first in the history of our program that we have 16 home regular season games. We've actually played more in a full season, but in a regular season to have 16 is a big deal for us. A lot of people helped, administration, athletic administration as well, to get that done. It was 2 or 3 years in the making, and it's big for our team this particular year. And where you have more home games than road games, it gives us a chance. And as a coach, that's all you ask sometimes from your own people is to help you give yourself a chance. And so they did it. And I wanted to start off by saying we certainly appreciate it. With that, we're excited about the upcoming season. We open up at TCU and at SMU this weekend. And then we come home next Thursday for a home game against Southeastern Louisiana. We've had a good preseason. A lot of returning players from last year. As you all know, we lost a good group of seniors 2 years ago, guys that won a bunch of games for us, and we had to replace them last year. We used the word inexperience many times last year, and I think it showed in how many close losses that we had on the season, more than really I've ever been involved with as a coach, that many close losses. And but our team played very hard, and we gave ourselves a chance. We just came up short many times. And I kept saying many times last year, we're not far off. We're really not that far off. And so I think I did an article with maybe even Adam in the spring about our returning players developing. And that's what has to happen here, and has happened to us in the past, and how we have to do it here. Our returning players getting better is critical to the overall success of the season, the next season. And all of our returning players have gotten better. We can see it, we can feel it. They're playing with much more confidence. They look like returning players, they act like returning players. And in practice, they've played like it. They've played well. We have two today, Travis Munnings and Sam McDaniel, who are with us here today, and they've had excellent, preseason camps. But I could really say that about all our returners. It's how you want it to be going from one year to the next. We've added some new players as well, which I think is also critical for the success of this year's team. 4 new guys. We lost 3 guards last year, and we brought in 4 guards. And so what that's done to our team for this upcoming season is a guard-heavy type team, a team that we're trying to play faster. We've worked on it all summer, all during the fall, a lot of 4-guard lineups, play faster, play more in open space. Shoot a lot of threes. I know y'all love that. Hopefully we make a lot of threes with that. But it's been interesting. It's been interesting for me as a coach, too, to go through this and kind of change a little bit midstream for the sake of our team, try to find an offense. We've changed our offense this year a little bit to try to fit our players better with these 4-guard lineups. And so it's been a process going through here in the fall, and at times it's looked really good. I don't think there's any question that we're a better basketball team than we were last year. We're improved. The returning players I've mentioned have improved, and then some new guys we have coming in to help. I think we're going to be able to play a lot of people. It's like I told someone a couple years ago, we had just won 14 out of 15 in a row. And I got an email from somebody questioning whether, because I was playing 6 people. Now, we had just won 14 out of 15, and they were questioning why I was just playing 6 people. And my answer was basically this, that you play however many people can help you win. And sometimes that takes a while to get to and understand and find out. If you have 10, 11 people that can help you win and play, you play 10 or 11. If you have 6 or 5, you play 5 or 6, whatever's best for your team. That particular year, it ended up being 6. This year's team, I really believe we're going to be able to play 9, 10, possibly 11 people, which is going to be new and interesting as well. We're trying to work out the substitution patterns right now and that type thing, but that's what the non-conference is for. And so, all in all, I think we're an improved team. We're excited. We've got our 2, returning leading scorers back, who I think have gotten better. Got a good schedule, and we're looking forward to see how well we can do. I think that we'll be better than we've been predicted. How much better remains to be seen, but I got a sneaky feeling about this team that our much like our football team. Our football team was picked 10th in the preseason. They're currently in what, 4th, 3rd, 4th. Much improved. I think we have a chance to do the same thing. Any questions?
To start out, I feel like every time we visited last year, you were talking about the season and said you'd never seen anything like it. But as you get forward and moving forward into this year, what do you kind of take away from that experience y'all went through?
Well, it's what I take away from is that you really don't want a year where you have to replace that many people. That was tough on these players last year, and our schedule was not very good, conducive to that type team. We played in 4 different time zones last year. We traveled all over the country with a new team, basically. Travis and Nick Coppola were the only ones back from the previous season. So if you can help it, is what I learned. If you can help it, that's not very good to have where only 2 players back that played any, and oh, by the way, send them all over the country to play. I think that had a lot to do with the whole season, really and truly, more than X's and O's and that type thing. We needed more players returning, which has to do with your classes and recruiting and that type thing, and we needed a little better. We need a little softer schedule, to be honest with you, and that team maybe could have built some confidence at them, where maybe later during the season they could have won more of those close games. We just never really got to that point.
Coach, you mentioned Nick. Just kind of talk about replacing a guy who's at the top of a lot of the record.
Good question, and one I probably should have answered from the top. We signed 2 players to take Nick Coppola's place. Who, as you all know, Nick was a 4-year starter for us. Ended up being the all-time assist leader in the history of the school, minutes played, that type thing. And we signed 2 guys this year to take his place. First is a high school kid from Indianapolis, Indiana, named Michael Ertl, 6 foot 6'1", a little bigger than Nick. Comes out of high school, probably a little better scorer than maybe Nick was coming out of high school. Been very impressive in our preseason camp for a freshman. Has a real chance to start for us on Friday night. And he's going to be a good player in this program for the next 4 years. He really is. And it's funny, we had 2 scrimmages, and he got tired in the second half of both scrimmages. I forgot it wasn't Nick Coppola. I was playing him Nick Coppola minutes, and he wore down on me a little bit. And so I've got to readjust there, and not everybody could do what Nick did. But he's one, and the other guy we signed is a junior college player out of Colorado, Brandon Newman, out of a junior college in Colorado. He's taller. We were looking for a taller point guard as well, and he's about 6'4", a pass-first point guard, really skilled, can dribble it and pass it, taller. So that gives us 2 guys that we can play in that spot, and be honest with you, they've both done well. And they'll both play, and could end up being even minutes even. But very happy with what we did to replace Nick.
Everybody sees the name Dang, of course, common name, no relation, but everybody saw him last year sitting on the bench. Is he the wild card in the mixture? What kind of player?
Well, he's, we redshirted him, and he benefited tremendously from the redshirt. He's not any kin to Majuk, other than on his visit he said, it would be an honor to follow Majuk to ULM. And, and so he didn't come here with Majuk shot, I can tell you that. But we redshirted him because he needed to get stronger, and the redshirt year definitely benefited him. And we're running him with our post players, Sam Alabakis, Roderick Taylor, and Kier, kind of all at the same spot, at the 5, running them in and out. And they're all 3 different players. Sam Alabakis is the biggest. Roderick Taylor's about 6'8", a little more, he's different, you know, a little different player than Sam Alabakis, not quite as tall. And then Kier's long. He's thin, but he's long, can run better. So it's kind of been giving us 3 different looks at the 5 spot, which has been interesting in our preseason. And so he'll be slow starting. You know, if I had to do it right now, he'd be the 3rd one coming off. But you know, don't be surprised if this kid helps us win a game or 2 this year, because he is long and he's athletic and he blocks shots.
You know, Sam really flashed for you guys at points last year. There were some times, you know, he put his back in the basket. He looked with everything he thought he could be. How much has he developed in the offseason?
He's gotten better. All 3 of those kids that I just mentioned have gotten better. And, you know, Sam Alabakis had a typical freshman year. He started kind of well early, and then he hit the wall in the middle of the year, and then he was out of it for a while. And at the end, he started coming back around and finished pretty well for a freshman. You got to remember, he's only 19 years old. We started recruiting him when he was 17. He's a young kid. He's gotten better. He's catching the ball better. Scoring it a little bit better in the post. And just moving better as a college athlete. He's gained some weight, but it's been good weight. It's been good weight. So everybody asked me about him because he's such a big kid, and everybody wants a good big post player. Everybody in the country does, and so that's why he's someone of interest. And he's moving along in his process all right. He really is. I think he's a little better this year, and I think he'll show it.
On a personal note, what's it like for you to look up and see that your son is in his last year of eligibility?
Lance has been around for 5 years. When I tell you he's seen the good, the bad, the ugly, he's seen it all now. And as Dr. Bruno said, he asked me the other day, he said, is Lance working on his PhD? I mean, he's a great kid, great teammate. It's nice that we've made him team captain this year, and he'll be a good voice for me inside our locker room. Got a coach's mind anyway, and it's been nice to have him around. And you know, hopefully I can get him in there in some games this year, and he can knock down some threes for us. Let me talk real quick about these players we have here. Travis is a junior, Sam McDaniel's a senior, and I had them come today to speak to you. They're 2 very important players on our team. As I mentioned, they've gotten better. They were our 2 returning leading scorers from last year, and they got to play well for us to have a good season, and I think they will play well based on what I've seen. And you know, that's kind of how you want it, is that you get to the upperclassmen. They've put in their time. You know, and Travis, this will be his 3rd year. Sam McDaniel, his 2nd. But these guys are always in the gym. They live in the gym. They're gym rats. They're always working on their game. And our program has kind of become a program of these kind of guys that develop. They're in the gym all the time. Besides, when you make them get in the gym, they work on their games. And then you look up a year or 2 or 3 later, and you got a really good player. And I want to compliment both of these young men on their work in the offseason. It's been tremendous. And I think you're going to be really excited about watching them play. Anything else?